Welcome to the Gals Guide to the Galaxy podcast, where a group of gals gather for you one cool thing around our topic of the month. Is it ancient history? Is it breaking news? Is it safe for work? Well, that's up to each gal. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I'm Eden, and I'm joined by Leah, Bonnie, and Katie talking about our one cool disabled gal. We have Bonnie, who already talked about the wonderful Tammy Duckworth. But before we dive back into our gal pals, I want to get to know something random about the ladies I'm sitting here with.
Yes.
So... since we're doing disabilities,
Yes, yeah.
I'm going to ask, because I used to work with people in the deaf community in Indianapolis for almost a decade and a half.
Sweet.
And I got the opportunity to learn American Sign Language.
Yeah.
And I'd always wanted to learn. I kind of was exposed to it when I was maybe fourth grade.
Yeah.
And so my interest was still there. So when I got a chance to work for the Vincennes University American Sign Language program, I totally jumped at it.
Oh, yeah.
My boss was like, we've got interpreters, so we don't need you to learn. But I was like, hello.
But you're in a great environment to do that. Yeah.
So I would like to know what you thought of if the United States decided to be like Canada and have two native languages,
two
official languages.
Yeah.
What you thought of if we made English, Spanish, and American Sign Language
Yes.
have a threesome.
Yes.
Ha, ha, ha.
I love it. In
What
all
you
the
thought
ways.
of that threesome of languages being official languaes for the United States.
Far more than French, because who can really? I'm just kidding. You have a French man, don't you?
I do. And I know French.
I see, there you go. But I love that idea of the three. I almost love the idea of English and American Sign Language. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there are so many Spanish speakers. And I took 3 years of Spanish, and it's really never helped me. So... No, it's only a teeny. Muy pequeño. Pequeño. There we go. See? Not helping. I did learn, I loved American Sign Language on Sesame Street.
Oh, yes.
That's where I first learned it. And then I went and got a book from the library. It was very hard trying to mirror my own hand.
Oh, yes.
Learning it from a book instead from another person sort of thing. I'm like, which way is the hand? Is that touching or not?
Yeah.
Yes, but I did try to self-teach myself, but there's no way I can
It's
speak
a little
thing.
difficult, yeah.
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 Exactly.
I
I
get
love
that.
that idea, though.
I think that would be incredible. And not just for people in the deaf community, but there's a lot of different disabilities that have non-speaking individuals who might be able to utilize sign language.
Yes.
Or benefit, my work in the autism community, a lot of times the verbal input is very overwhelming.
Oh,
so
yeah.
being able to communicate non-verbally is a huge benefit to those individuals. So,
Yeah.
and I think anybody in opposition, just to play devil's advocate, would be like, well, that's a small part of our population. However, it's still a very valued and significant part of our population would be what I'd say to that.
Yeah.
I think we can also utilize it in so many
Right?
other ways, as well as a way of communication.
And
It'd
wouldn't
be
we
really
all
cool.
like to be able to be like those interpreters at the rock
Yes.
music concerts
Yes.
that are into it and
They are
grooving
awesome.
and
Oh.
interpreting?
When they
Like,
get
I could do that.
into it.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Mhm.
It's beautiful.
Totally.
It's like a form of dance when
Yeah.
we
Totally.
do that. So
Mhm.
I think
I'm
it'd be
usually
cool.
end up paying more attention to them.
Yes.
I'm like, look at her go.
No. I went to a lecture once that it was like a women in science thing, and they had two interpreters because they would switch on and
Oh,
off.
yeah. Good.
And I'm just they're saying all these scientific words, and I'm like, there's no way.
Right.
There's a specific word for that thing.
Right.
And I'm also like, I can't spell. I can't imagine these people spelling these long words. So I'm sure, they had their own little phrase.
Right. Maybe
But I was just
shortening it or something.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will
Impressive.
give you this little tip. Most of the time when people need interpreters,
Yeah.
the interpreters, like if someone's giving a speech, they'll usually give a copy to the interpreters in
Oh,
advance.
they know it a little bit beforehand.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
If there's names, words, a lot of times those are, if not the whole, like maybe it's a discussion,
Right.
or like not a fixed written out speech.
Yeah.
They might have the names in advance or the terminology in advance.
Gotcha. So they could look up something that is not a common
Yes.
thing, or a way to maybe shorthand it, maybe a little bit. I mean,
exactly.
That sounds like a horrible thing to say.
But
Shorthand it
that
in depth. Oh my god,
happens.
It's sign language.
Yeah. And then for the women and the men that interpret at concerts,
Yeah.
they usually end up getting the the albums,
Oh.
and they listen to the songs
So they can even
ahead
get
of time.
the beat
The
and
beat. They learn the lyrics, so it's not a total straight up surprise.
Gotcha.
Nice.
And I think that's some of the things that I think of where it's like, man, they're learning this like right now, like on the spot,
Yeah.
like as they're going. But yes, that really shows that they've done their damn homework.
And a lot of times, because there's two, anytime there's two, the one that's resting will sometimes help the one that's actually doing the interpreting in that moment.
Gotcha.
You
They
know,
get kind of stuck or totally fair. Oh, neat.
Yeah. Interpreting is really awesome.
Man,
I
that
don't
would
have
make me
that kind
wanna-
of brain power, but those
Yeah.
people are superheroes.
I love visual, so that's
Yeah.
the thing. The idea of sign language is a visual language. It's kind of like the handwriting and stuff like that, and so I really dig it. So
Totally.
I love that idea.
Do you know any sign language? Do you know the
I
alphabet?
can't remember. I thought I knew.
Alphabet.
Is it A, B, C? It's the B's and the D's. I'm not sure of. C, D. Oh no, E. Yes. Oh yeah, I wouldn't have remembered F. G. Really? H. Okay. O, I, J,
Yep.
K. Yes. Okay. All right. Kind of L. Yeah. Because that's my name.
Yes.
I remember the L.
Yes.
M. Is it this? Okay. Oh, it's this way for M.
Well, M.
Oh, 3 and then
Yes.
N. Okay.
Uh-huh,
Gotcha.
and O.
And then O. P's. Yeah, I lost it
So
there.
P and K are the same. It's
Oh,
just which way the fingers
okay.
go.
Gotcha. There you go.
And same with Q. Q and G
Okay.
are the same. It's just the direction they
Oh,
go.
because you can see it
Uh-huh.
visually.
And
Okay.
then R.
Gotcha. Yes.
S is
Yeah.
a fist.
I'm-
T.
Yeah.
If you ever have to go to the bathroom, you shake the T.
Toilet.
Nice.
Just say toilet. And then U
Okay. Yeah.
and V.
Yes.
W.
Yeah.
X.
Yeah.
Y. Sometimes Y.
Okay.
And then Z.
Oh.
No,
See,
no,
I
no.
feel
know
like I lost.
toilet
Thank
and
you. Yes.
Stand.
Yes.
It's in
Toilet
special
stand.
education.
Yeah.
Yes.
We do a
Toilet
lot of that.
stand.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
quit sitting on the floor. We gotta stand and go somewhere.
Totally.
Yes,
Totally. And I know you guys can't
Lovely.
see that we just
Yeah.
finger spelled the alphabet.
Yes,
but
exactly.
there you go.
But
it was
I-
beautiful.
I think it
It was beautiful.
translated
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
And
I
like,
was-
yes, I've got to study. Okay, so yes, no, I gotta get back to that.
I was
That's
fortunate
fun.
enough to work with a guy he identifies deaf. I'm sure most people would clarify him as hard of hearing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah,
he
yeah.
calls himself deaf.
Yeah.
So, but I learned 2 words from him.
Yeah. Oh no, neither of these are
and
gonna be clean.
I've only gotten to use like one. I was so excited when we moved into our house. We hired a team just like through like U-Haul, and it turned out it was 3 guys that were all hard of hearing.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Like, yes, I get to use my words.
Oh,
So
no.
it was, well, thank you.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
The
Yeah,
other
yeah.
one I didn't get to use, and I've been waiting for the day.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Bullshit. Oh,
Yeah.
so you get the bull on one side and the shit on
And
the
then,
other.
yeah. So it's
Bullshit.
the bull horns, like folded arms, bull horns, and then like poop coming out.
Yes.
Yes.
I was like,
Totally.
it's amazing.
Totally.
Perfect. I think really. I mean, if you're gonna know 2 words, thank you and bullshit. I mean, I feel
Totally.
like you've covered some
absolutely.
a
You
lot
can
of ground there.
address any situation in life.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Pretty much.
Too funny. So, Eden, who do you have for us, darling?
All right.
And also,
so-
do you feel like you answered the question as well? Of do you think?
I do think
Okay,
that
yes.
English and American Sign Language
Yeah.
definitely should be
Predominant
because-
languages.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I would
Mhm.
say, I think back in the 90s, American Sign Language or sign language in general
Mhm.
was like in the top 5 most used
Yes.
languages
Yep.
in the United States. I don't know any current statistics.
Same. Yeah.
But I would imagine it's probably still in the top 5.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
I think that would be great.
Mhm.
I really do miss working in the deaf community.
Yeah.
Because they're just, it's just wonderful.
I like it.
Totally.
And the thing is now, I'm thinking like, okay, I picked up a book at the library. I can watch YouTube videos now.
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine learning sign language through YouTube? That's
Yep.
got to be so
much easier.
Yes.
There's social media people that
Oh.
will
Yep.
like have, the word of the day
Oh my gosh.
or whatever,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
teach you.
I hope we've just
I think-
inspired all of our listeners.
I think I'm going to
Why
get on
not
this.
sign
I really
language
do.
day?
I think it would be great.
I
So,
follow
yeah.
a lot of ASL related Instagram accounts,
Oh,
and they'll have
sweet.
so it's Pride Month.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
they did a thing on here are some Pride Month related signs.
Nice.
So you have like the LGBTQIA, plus,
Right.
and they would give you the signs for each of what those letters represent.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'm inspired.
All right,
I'm going to be even more inspired. So tell us about your lady.
Okay. So I first learned about this person from watching Neil deGrasse Tyson's
Yes.
Cosmos
Brilliant.
remake series, where
Yes.
he redid Carl Sagan's series
yes.
from the 80s.
Yep.
And I love outer space.
Mm-hmm.
I just do the stars and the
Same.
nebula and all that kind of stuff. So anyway,
Bonnie's
I'm-
bouncing.
I might know who it is.
so my lady
Yes?
is Annie Jump Cannon.
Yes, it is. Bonnie's so excited.
Yes.
Yes.
I
as-
love the
yes.
Harvard computer.
Her nickname was the census taker of the sky.
Yes.
I just love that idea.
So good at it too. Yes.
Okay, so
Love her.
she
Yeah.
was an astronomer.
Yes.
And she revolutionized the way scientists classify stars.
Yes.
Okay. So, Miss Cannon was born in Dover, Delaware on the 11th of December in 1863. So,
1863.
like, the
A bit
Civil
ago.
War
A
was
bit.
doing its thing, and the
Mhm.
Emancipation Proclamation had just, like, reached everybody that
Right.
previous June.
Mhm.
So there you go.
Yes.
Okay, her parents were Wilson Lee Cannon, and her mother was Mary Elizabeth Jump.
Gotcha.
So that's where the middle
That's
name
where
of
the jump and the cannon comes from. Got it.
Very common,
Yeah, yeah.
actually. And surprisingly enough, it was her mother who inspired her love of science.
Oh, yay!
Which I love.
Science ladies teaching science ladies.
So, okay, so Mary, the mom, and Annie, the daughter, built a small observatory on the roof of their house.
Like you do.
Like, seriously?
Yeah.
Seriously.
That was going to be my summer project.
Right.
If somebody else has already done it, then never
I need an
mind.
observatory on my roof.
What did you do
So-
this summer?
So anyway, Mary, the mom, advised her daughter to go to college and study science and math.
Which is super freaking rare.
Yeah.
For
I
the
mean,
time.
Remember
But-
the year we're talking
Yes,
about.
but thank you.
Exactly. So Miss Annie ended up attending Wellesley College, and she was majoring. She had a double major
Sweet.
in physics and astronomy. Yay!
Amazing.
So she also while she was there, she studied under Sarah Frances Whiting,
Mhm.
who was also in her own right a pioneer in the field of astronomy.
She was in the right spot.
Yes, exactly. When your mentor is like the head honcho lady,
Uh-huh.
you can't go wrong with that. And Cannon ended up writing Whiting's biography in the popular astronomy journal,
Nice.
like Journal of Astronomy.
Yes.
kind of thing.
I was going to say, whatever
Yes.
whatever you said
Exactly.
there. Yep.
Annie graduated in 1884,
Wow.
and of course, she was the valedictorian. 'Cause, smart and stuff.
Overachiever, love it.
Okay, so after graduating, she returned to Dover, and surprisingly enough, she got into photography.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, that's interesting.
Right.
She traveled as a photographer,
Okay.
and she ended up publishing a book of her photographs.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. Yeah,
and
yeah,
that book of photographs
Yeah.
became a very popular souvenir during the Chicago World's Fair of 1893.
I saw a scan of it, and that's because it was at the fair.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
neat.
So remember that date, 1893. There's a lot
Gotcha.
of things that go on in 1893. Okay, so unfortunately, the next year in 1894, her mother passed away.
Oh,
So that's
gotcha.
kind of sad. And that same year, after her mother had passed away, Annie decided to return to Wellesley. She attended graduate school and she worked as what they called a junior physics teacher.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that means that she taught juniors in physics or if she was
Like
like
she was an assistant?
A graduate assistant type
assistant.
thing.
It
Yeah.
probably means that she did the work without the pay.
Probably.
There's that. Right?
Yeah.
Mm.
So anyway, she was a physics teacher. And because, doing graduate school at Wellesley is like not that big a deal, I guess.
Sure.
She also enrolled in at Radcliffe, which
Yep.
at the time
Mhm.
was the all-girls sister school to the all-male Harvard.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. There you go.
So yes, because why not?
Uh-huh.
So she soon found herself working in Harvard's observatory
Yeah.
under Edward Pickering.
The Pickering gals.
Yes. So within about 3 years, in 1896, she was participating in U.S. experiments, the first of their kind, I guess, working with X-rays,
Mhm.
which I thought was interesting. And she joined a group of women known as computers.
Yay!
Which, if you've watched Hidden Figures, you know that
Yes.
computers were the women who did all the calculations.
Right.
So she was put to work with this group of women known as computers, and they were cataloging and classifying stars.
Yes.
Unfortunately, as we can all probably imagine, these women were woefully underpaid.
But of course.
They earned as little as 50 cents an hour.
Oh my goodness.
That's appalling.
And they're basically doing astronomy
But-
and physics and
Yeah, but
categorizing.
Pickering
Yeah.
was doing them a favor
Oh.
by hiring them.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thanks.
Anyway,
That's what he-
not that you can see
Right.
it, but major hair flip, right? All right, so
Yes.
before she even graduated with her master's degree from Wellesley, Annie had already published her first catalog of stars, and that was in 1901.
Sweet.
So she didn't let the low pay deter her
Mhm,
from
mhm.
doing what she does.
Right.
It was
So-
her passion,
Absolutely.
obviously. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, here's the super cool part. She developed a new system for classifying stars based mainly on temperature.
Yeah.
And it was called, or it grew to be called, the Harvard Spectral Classification System. And yes, it's still in use today.
Oh, and I'm sure she got all the credit, right?
Right.
At that time.
So, she came up with this mnemonic device,
I
when you
love-
come up with a phrase. And her phrase was, "Oh, be a fine girl, kiss me." And it's the mnemonic device for the abbreviation OBAFGKM,
Yeah.
which astronomers then and now use this as a way to organize stars according to their celestial characteristics. Okay?
Perfect.
So, 4 years after receiving her master's degree from Wellesley, she was appointed as the curator of observational photographs
Mhm.
at the Harvard College Observatory.
And this is where that photograph.
Yeah, so now
training
she
comes
was
in.
able to
Mhm.
partner her love of the stars and astronomy with her love of photography.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So between 1911 and 1915,
Yeah.
she managed to classify 5,000 stars per month.
Wow.
gosh.
I mean, seriously, y'all.
That's a
Did she
crap ton
sleep?
of stars.
Probably not, but there you go. She continued to classify around 350,000 stars over the
Wow.
course of her professional career.
That's amazing. Because wasn't their goal to categorize every visible star?
Yes.
So, I mean, there's a lot of them to go from.
Yeah.
but that's a
exactly.
crap ton she did.
Can you imagine looking up in the night sky back in her day too, with
Yeah.
all the light pollution and
Yes.
all of that?
Gorgeous.
They weren't allowed to use the telescope. They had to
Couldn't
work off the
touch it.
glass plates.
Yes. Yes.
And they were doing the whole sky, northern and southern hemisphere.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
wow.
they had another observatory in Peru, and they were shipping the slides, which were on glass.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, okay, this is like on a train.
Right,
And my
exactly.
carriage in this glass is
Flat,
just shaking.
fragile. Yeah. All right. So in 1921, Annie became the first woman to receive a doctorate degree in astronomy from, and I'm going to mess up this name,
You're good.
Groningen University.
Sure, yeah.
Oh,
Groningen.
I don't know.
Groningen.
Yeah, that's the one.
Interpret as you will.
Okay. I should have looked up even where that was.
You're
but
good, you're good.
Anyway. In 1922,
Sweet.
the very next year, the International Astronomical Union
Mm-hmm.
adopted her method as the official spectral classification system because she rocked.
Exactly. And it worked.
Yes. So in addition to her work in astronomy, Annie also fought for women's voting rights,
Yes, she did.
women's suffrage,
Yep.
and was a member of the National League of Women Voters.
Yay!
Because, smart
Suffragette.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And in the next year, in 1923, because,
Gotta keep
Got-
it.
yeah.
Yeah, keep it going.
so in 1923, she was voted one of the 12 greatest women alive
Oh,
in the
crap.
U.S. by the National League of Women Voters.
Oh, lovely.
That's amazing.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was like
I
a
know.
category someone
Right.
could be.
That somebody started ranking.
Yes.
I mean, I feels weird a little bit of the ranking, but it's cool.
Hey.
It's cool. It brings
Totally.
awareness to these fantastic
Exactly.
women. So sure.
Yes.
Yes.
She also became the first woman to receive an honorary degree from Oxford University, which, as we all
Ooh.
know, is not in the United States.
Right.
That's in England.
Mhm.
Nice.
In Oxford, England, to be exact. And she's the first woman to be awarded the Henry Draper Medal of Honor
Right.
from the National Academy of Sciences.
Exactly. That's the big
Yes,
sciencey award.
Exactly. So all up until now,
Yeah.
finally, in 1938,
Yeah.
she was given a permanent faculty position at Harvard.
Right.
In their observatory.
She had to win everything.
Yes.
She had to prove
and
herself.
be
Yes.
recognized by
Yeah.
everyone.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Until Harvard went, okay, you can teach.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
We'll take a chance on you.
I mean, I guess since you created the thing we're teaching about, maybe you could
do
like
that.
that.
Teach it or
Guess
Yeah,
something.
just
maybe.
be an expert in it.
Okay, so I know that this month is all about ladies with disabilities.
Mhm.
And yes, Annie Jump Cannon did have a disability, but
Mhm.
clearly she did not let it slow her
Did
down.
not hold her back
It probably
whatsoever.
helped.
No.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I was gonna say,
absolutely, yeah.
Exactly. So remember I said, 1893, that whole Chicago's World Fair
Yes.
year? Okay, so around the time she was selling that book of photography as a souvenir
Mhm.
at the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago, she came down with scarlet fever.
Ah.
And it's very common when you have scarlet fever that it results, after you recover, it can result in profound hearing loss.
Gotcha.
And that's just kind of a typical
Side effect or
yes,
yeah.
of having scarlet fever. I'm
Gotcha.
not entirely sure how scarlet fever does that, but there you go.
I mean, I wasn't sure how Bell's palsy did it till I got it, and I
That's
went,
true.
"Well, it's doing it."
There you go. Okay, so that means
Yeah.
because remember
she did all that stuff.
she returned to Wellesley to get a graduate degree,
Yeah.
and then she also started working at Harvard's observatory.
So she was losing and or lost her hearing during
She had
all of
lost
that.
her
Ah.
hearing by the time she went back and re-enrolled for graduate work
Oh
at
wow.
Wellesley.
Yeah.
And they didn't really. I mean, American Sign Language was a thing by that point,
Right.
Deaf American history begins in the early 1800s.
Gotcha. Okay.
So by this point, you're a century into, sign language and studies and all of that. But, she didn't start out deaf.
Yeah.
So she did all of this while lip reading.
Wow.
And if you've ever tried to lip read.
No.
It's really difficult. Everybody thinks deaf people can do it like it's a magic power.
You know how I learned that I'm not good at it? Looking at videos with the mute on. You know how like a Facebook video or a TikTok video and you'd be like, I'll just lip read. And I'm like, nope, no idea what they're saying. I'm going to know. So yeah.
Yeah. So
it's
anybody
hard.
deaf or otherwise, or hard of hearing or otherwise that can lip read. That's really a skill.
And you turn your head. It doesn't matter how talented you are.
Yeah.
You can't see it to translate it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she did all of this while lip reading. She worked as a physics teacher while lip reading. She created her star classification method, all while lip reading.
Amazing.
And I'm just like floored by that.
Yeah.
So, okay, side note, the Chicago World's Fair was not the only thing going on in 1893.
Yes.
That was also the same year that the Columbia Institute's National Deaf Mute College was renamed, drumroll please, Gallaudet College.
Oh, wow.
Which, of course, in the mid-'80s became Gallaudet University. In the 1980s became Gallaudet University. Which is, a little fun fact, Gallaudet is the only deaf university in the world.
Really? There's only one?
On the planet.
See, that just makes me mad.
It really kind of does.
There shouldn't just be one.
There really shouldn't. I was really shocked by the fact that there weren't. I mean, I'm thinking.
Right.
American Sign Language is based on French Sign Language, which is based on the French spoken language.
Okay.
I'm thinking, shouldn't there be one in France?
Shouldn't there be? Yeah, exactly. Okay.
The UK maybe?
That's so weird.
Something, but yeah, Gallaudet is the only one in the world that's located in Washington, D.C.
Well, I mean, yay, but disappointing.
Yes.
Kind of like the existence of Gal's Guide. Yay, but only one.
Yes.
Maybe.
Exactly. So, like I said.
Right? I mean, it's not that other places don't have a deaf program or anything, but like dedicated to deaf students exclusively.
Yes. Yes. And yes, hearing students do end up going to Gallaudet.
Sweet.
But you have to be fluent
in sign language.
Yeah, there's a whole, obviously you have to apply.
Yes.
And write letters and, all that stuff. But you also have to go through a rigorous evaluation process for your signing ability.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm fortunate to be able to say that some of my students
ended
up at Gallaudet. Not that I was their sign language teacher.
Right,
but,
right. You know people who went, and it was a big deal. Yes,
exactly.
Beautiful.
So, okay. Yeah. So I mentioned that I heard about her because she's part of Neil deGrasse Tyson's remake of Carl Sagan's Cosmos series.
Yes.
Which I watched the Carl Sagan series when I was in grade school. We all thought it was boring because he had this very kind of calm way of talking.
He has a monotone voice, but it's so exciting what he's talking about.
Absolutely.
That I was for it. Pale blue dot.
Totally.
I mean, I'm always here for the pale blue
big
dot.
blue marble and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just in case you're interested, Neil deGrasse Tyson's remake aired in 2014. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
That long ago? Wow.
I know, right? That's 9 years ago.
Whoa.
It was actually, let's see. He made a sequel to it.
Yes.
Which it premiered on March 9th, 2020.
Right.
And the world shut down on March 13th.
It did.
For at least the United States.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were all home to watch it, I guess.
Yes, exactly, right?
So, Miss Annie, the wonderful Miss Annie, passed away on the 13th of April, 1941.
Gotcha.
And
she was quite old. That's a long life. Yeah.
I mean, 1863 to 1941.
Yeah, nice.
I don't do math, but maybe
I don't either.
Like the 80s.
She was
sounds like 80 something.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So anyway, an asteroid and a crater on the moon
Mhm.
have
Named
both
after?
been named in her honor.
I
And I
love
just
that.
think that's fantastic.
She was also in a Wonder Woman comic.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Yes, she was. So, if you are looking to watch Neil deGrasse Tyson's
Yes, please.
series, she is in the first series that premiered in 2014.
Yeah.
The series is called Cosmos: A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
It's episode number 8.
Okay. Gotcha.
And it's called Sisters of the Sun because it talks about her and the women that she was working with.
the computers.
The computers.
Oh my goodness.
So yes.
Bonnie has a couple of paintings of some of the computers.
Wow.
Who are the paintings you did? You did Annie.
Annie was
yes.
the first one I did.
Yes.
Cool.
It's a gorgeous painting. And then who is the other one? Henrietta
I did Wilhelmina Fleming.
Wilhelmina Fleming,
And
the
then-
Scottish woman who is the maid.
Mhm.
And then I did the
Oh, that is
Annie.
cool.
Isn't that neat? It's all out of stars.
Yes. It looks
And
like a nebula.
then-
Mm-hmm.
And then Wilhelmina, because
Oh,
she did
neat.
the Horsehead Nebula.
Yep.
So she's got that in there. And then I did
Henrietta
Um,
Swan Leavitt? No.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
'cause she did the pulsars.
Yes. They're gorgeous. Look at that.
You know, it's so funny. So I took an astronomy for non-majors class when I was at IU.
So, like, for funsies. Yes, I love it. Yes.
Because I love astronomy. And I thought,
Totally.
I don't know if I'll get a chance to study astronomy, so I'm taking this class.
Yeah.
And we would go, because IU has an observatory.
Oh,
And so it was an afternoon class, but then some nights we would actually go to the observatory and look at stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So cool. If you're in
Gorge.
central Indiana, Butler University has an observatory.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's also cool if you are into stars and everything.
Yeah. I'm into places that have clear skies.
And there's that.
So it's just not. It's
No.
Why does it just side vent real quick? Why does every celestial event that happens in Indiana we have a cloudy night?
I know, because it's
There's
Indiana.
going to be this fantastic
Yeah.
event. Look up in the sky. No, I can't.
Totally. But two last little tidbits.
Yes, please, please, please. My little vent.
So, the teacher I had for that astronomy class was really awesome, and it was one of those big lecture hall,
Yeah.
300 people. Somebody asked her one time, because she had mentioned in the course of explaining something about how she is she believes in God.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And I don't remember how that came up, but she happened
It happens
to
in science.
mention it. And a guy raised his hand and asked how does she reconcile her belief in God and Jesus and everything
Right, with science. Yeah, yeah.
'Cause, we like to pretend that it's a zero-sum game and you have to
Right.
care about one or the other, but you can't do both.
Right.
Whatevs.
Exactly.
Anyway, she gave the best answer, which basically, and yes, I'm paraphrasing, she basically said, science, looking at the stars, she had just shown us, I think, the Crab Nebula. She put the Crab Nebula back up on the big screen, and she said, science has confirmed my belief in a higher power.
Oh.
She says, I can't divorce
Yeah.
what I see in the sky and its beauty and its wonder
Right.
from belief in God, because who else would have made it?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that is the
That's
best answer
a very
ever.
sweet. Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
Aw.
Absolutely. So that's, anybody that
Yeah.
asks me
Right.
those kind of weirdo questions, I'm always like, because who do you think made it?
Gorgeous.
Yes.
I love it. I love
So
it.
anyway.
Do y'all have any questions about Annie Jump Cannon? She's one of those that still. Have you ever found a biography about her? Because as far as my research, I've never seen anybody actually write a biography about her.
Which is
There's little
sad if they
kids-
haven't.
There's little kids' books that are
Yes.
very short, but I mean,
Yes.
like,
there's not one just on her.
Right.
But
She's
there's
in
the Glass
compilations.
Universe, which is
Yes.
about like all the Harvard computers. And
Right.
The whole
I
Harvard.
feel
Oh,
like
that's
Annie
cool.
deserves her own.
She really kinda does.
No,
She
I
really
mean,
kinda
Come
does.
it's
on.
weird to be so over. Like, she's on a top 12 list. I mean, come on.
Yes, really? Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
It is. It always was an odd one of like, why doesn't she have her own biography yet?
Yeah. Well, here's the other tidbit I was going to
Yeah.
share. So one of the reasons why it took Harvard so long to give her like
A
an
professor.
actual job,
Right.
we're going to make you a
Sexism.
you know. One, because she was a woman,
Right.
and sexism. You're
Yeah.
right.
Mm.
The other one is because she was deaf.
Ah.
They didn't think that, I don't
She
know, maybe
could teach.
if you can't hear, you don't have a brain. Like, I don't even understand. She
Right.
created the system that's still used today.
Obviously, she's good at her job.
Yeah, so they basically were like, oh, okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can teach, that's fine.
Right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. A two strikes kind of scenario
Mhm.
until you're so damn good that they can't ignore you.
Exactly. And it just goes to show that deaf people are just as smart,
Yes.
sometimes smarter, because
yeah.
lip reading.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That takes
yeah.
some brains.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we like to underestimate people, especially people with disabilities.
Yeah.
And Annie Jump Cannon is the poster child for you can do anything.
Yeah.
The only thing you can't do is hear.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That's
And
the only
then
thing.
I don't remember if she actually said anything or if people were just assuming that may have been why she was so fast at cataloging the stars. Because she did have
wasn't
some
having
kind of
side
hearing.
conversations.
Yeah, she had some kind of like a really old like steampunk hearing aid thing
hmm
that I've seen, but like she was able to just tune people out
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and just
Just go to work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine living, working in a cubicle and just tuning out everybody? Be like, nope.
I mean, I've got some superhuman ability to ignore folks. Not
Right?
to lie,
Mhm.
but
yeah.
I mean,
Tap into that Annie Jump Cannon.
Yes. Yes.
Nope.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's lovely. Do you want to close us out? Do you want to do the episode close for us?
Yes, I would love to.
Sweet.
All right. So, well, that wraps us up for this week. So join us next week for another cool woman of history as Gal's Guide podcast continues. Thank you so much for listening.
For show notes, links, and images from this week's show, visit galsguide.org. Want exclusive stuff like deleted bits and major bloopers? Become a Gals Guide patron today. Thanks for listening.